Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. It's New Year's Day. And I want to say a few things as we go into 2021, hoping against hope that this year will be better for all of us. But let's talk about what I want to say on New Year's Day. I do hate being gimmicky on New Year's Day, but when we think about the main kind of message that we've been getting, it's what do I do now? It's New Year's, or how do I get past this in the case of narcissistic abuse? And that question of how do I get past this is the nature of narcissistic abuse. It gets under your skin, and you wonder if healing from narcissistic abuse is a burden you always have to endure. Keep in mind that healing is a very individual process. The fact is, some people do get through to the other side quickly. Other people feel stuck for years. Neither way is right. Some people get to indifference, and some people find it almost impossible to get to indifference. Some people might find themselves making pretty consistent progress, but then all of a sudden find themselves sliding backwards again. Just want to reassure you that there is no right way to do this. All of this is normal, but let this be the year that you get the tools to heal. Many of us are still facing lots of restrictions in our lives, at least for the first half of this coming year. So if we're going to be locked down, let's use some of that time well. So here on New Year's Day, let's just start with this. Let's turn these comment sections on these videos into their own living, breathing, advising space. At least once a week to every 10 days, I'm going to ask you to share your experiences of healing in very specific ways, as long as you feel comfortable sharing. It's not required. In this way, you become the experts. I just serve as the curator, making sure that we get a chance to hear the lived experience and the living, breathing tools and things that work for all of you, sort of hanging up on virtual walls in this gallery or this museum, so everyone can see them and learn from them. So let me share with you, because I went through a lot of my notes from the past few years. Let me share with you some of the things that the people I have observed directly have shared with me, that these are the things that have worked best for them in their healing journey. First is doing something they love, and which their narcissist told them that they would never succeed at. It was things like work, or starting school again, writing, art, turning a hobby into a business. After years of one woman hearing, "Who the heck would pay for you to cook their dinner?" she turned it into a thriving catering business. And she loves it, and that's helping her heal. For another person, it was cleaning up their social media and blocking or deleting the people who kept them stuck, whose posts leave them living in the past and leave them feeling less than. They just clean that up. For another person, it was finally throwing away the tired narratives about what a happy family is supposed to look like and no longer fighting for a false marriage. For yet another person, it was getting okay with gray rocking and not viewing gray rock as hypocrisy, but as survival, and at the same time ensuring that they build real friendships in which they feel that they can be their true selves, basically as an antidote to the icky, soulless feeling of gray rock. You can only live so long if your whole life is gray rock. Someone else had told me how they had to move across the planet so many time zones away that it actually made it really hard to stay in touch with the family that kept trying to pull them back into the same old gaslighted arguments. And she's able to say, "Well, it's 2 a.m. here, can't talk to you." With someone else, it was that they stopped trying to protect the narcissist in their lives. And they kept exhausting themselves, so they stopped exhausting themselves to keep up that sort of happy family facade. And by stepping back, the other family members were able to see the narcissist more clearly and figure it out. Another thing people learned was to stop sharing stuff with the narcissist that matters in their lives. For example, to not let them know about the new role or promotion you got at work. There is an empowerment that comes from protecting yourself from the narcissist's undermining and insecure criticism of you and your life. There's another person, and I've told you all to do this, when this person was clear-headed, she wrote down every awful thing that happened with the narcissist, and she just kept adding to the list. Every time she felt like she was getting hoovered back in, or giving the relationship another chance, or justifying it, she looked at the list and she found new resolve. For someone else, it was setting a boundary with or letting go of the people who didn't get what narcissistic abuse was, and they just kept enabling, emboldening, and justifying your narcissist to you. Oh, he didn't mean it, or she isn't that bad, or aren't all marriages like this? A little bit? What's narcissistic abuse? I've never heard of it. Sounds like you're making something up. Learning that gaslighting is a thing that is actually a thing, and not letting people steal that person's reality anymore is another healing journey. Someone else told me that they were willing to start from scratch and stopped trying to carry their old life into their new life, even though it was very lonely. That's just a short smattering of the hundreds and hundreds of healing journeys I have witnessed or have been told about. So on this New Year's Day, buoyed by knowing people do heal, let's begin. And I'm going to make these call outs to you from time to time here on YouTube. What worked for you? For those of you out there who have made progress out of, or healing from, or even figuring out the ways you could stay into one of these narcissistic relationships, what has worked in your healing journey? This comment section will become, like I said, its own living, breathing document. And I will do the best I can with my team to organize these suggestions you're making into structured documents that we can toss up on my website and you can turn to when you need a reminder that it does get better. This year, it's not about resolutions. It's just a good, hard look at what works and then picking what works for you. Dr. Maya Angelou wrote, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." Please, please let this be the year that you finally, in your way, share your story with people who will cherish your story and you. All any of us can do is just get through the days and find the beauty in each one. Let this be the year you heal and leave these toxic narratives behind you. Happy New Year.